Welcome to another episode of Voicing Artists' Original Characters. Our artist for this work here today, their name is Amy, or Amyjoyarts on Instagram and social media. And the character's name that we are working with is Hazel Brown, pronoun she, her. As you can see from the image that is currently up here, Hazel Brown is a cute little pumpkin gal. She is adorable. I do not have any words for how, absolutely cute and almost farm girl aesthetic because of the pumpkin, because of the little suspender style high-waisted skirt, little puffy sleeves. She almost got a farm girl aesthetic, and it's so cute. Oh my god. So the background of Hazel is that she works at a bakery, but right now she's only allowed to touch the coffee maker and the cash register, which she isn't happy about. That's the backstory. I kind of love that it's this very unique cutout segment of her life. It's not, here's everything that's ever happened to her as a child and her parents and her siblings and blah, blah, blah. And it's not, here's the universe and what she does every single day and how she feels about all her people. It's simply a snippet, a little cut of her life. She works at a bakery, but she's not allowed to touch anything. That's going to be fun to play with. It makes it so we have to go searching in this context to find bits and pieces of her personality, and I kind of love that. I'm excited to search. Let me show you a few of these photos here. This is her with a little, what looks like lavender or something flower, and she's just sort of looking at it, and she's got the little blush under her cheeks. This down here is her and her boyfriend, so she's in this cute little pose where she's got sweater on, and she's sort of cuddling up to him, which is really cute. She is also over here standing with her hands folded in front of her, and she's got this cute little smile with the classic jack-o'-lantern two front teeth, which I think is adorable. This one is again her and her boyfriend. She's in a very flowery farm girl, girl next door aesthetic, and she's got a flower crown in her hands, and so does he, and I'm assuming maybe they're making flower crowns to wear, which is so cute and so wholesome. And I love that she has this swirl on her head too, right next to her. It's almost like a little piece of hair, but maybe like an ear or earring, or it's just part of being a pumpkin, right? But it adds to sort of this almost feminization cuteness of it. You can also see that their skin is wood. It is like the tree stumps that you would have for actual vegetables and plants. And I really like this art style, and I like this design of a character because it is essentially a humanoid pumpkin, which is not something I think I've ever seen. This one I really, really like because the color palette speaks to me. She is having this really cutesy moment where maybe she's a little, surprised or happy because she's holding her face a little bit, and there's this beautiful contrast from the orange of the pumpkin to the darker blue-green sky with the same orange stars in the background as her head is. And it's really, really compelling with the way that the colors compare against each other, especially in this more of a sketchy style where you can see a lot of the line work and it's not necessarily smooth and bold and solid color. It's very much a sketchy, almost colored pencil style. And I think that against this solid color, flat, dark background stands out really well. Gives us a sense of depth and just really draws your eye to this portrait. I like this one a lot. We actually have a drawing of her in emotions, which is crazy. We always do emotions on this show. We do happy, angry, and sad. And this artist happened to have drawn her with emotions, almost like a little character sheet of showing the different ways she would look. So we will be able to use this as a reference point, which is amazing. You can see the neutral state with the two little buck teeth, and she just is sort of a smiley, gentle, happy person in her neutral state. And then her happy gets even more excited. Her sad is really unfortunate because you can just see how much her face drops. The eyes quite literally droop in. and her mouth doesn't quite go as far down. It's almost more of like a shocked look because of how sort of open but flat her mouth is compared to how sad her eyes are. It's almost like a shocked sadness or a disappointment. And then her angry is interesting because she doesn't look all that angry. She doesn't really look like she's very forceful about her anger. Her eyes are definitely smaller and they're doing more of like a rounded sort of stare, and her mouth is very small. So to me, this gives less forceful, I'm angry, I'm gonna yell, and more of a betrayal. More of a like, how could you type of anger, where it's a bit quieter, it's a bit more solemn, but it's a lot sharper. And it almost like boils your skin or sears it versus like stabbing it, because it sits with you and it sits in your gut. So I think that's going to end up being her anger that we play with. But before we get into emotions, let me give you some adjectives that the artist gave for Hazel Brown. So polite was the first one, which makes sense with sort of the wholesome atmosphere that she's giving us. They also did give me girl next door. I believe I said it once before. She definitely has that kind of energy where she's just like very gentle and friendly. They did have charm and outgoing, which I think can be a little deceiving because a lot of these drawings for her tend to keep her in a closer posture. You might not think outgoing because we often think outgoing people are a bit louder, they're more open with their bodies, they're more expressive on their faces, which is true. A lot of people that are outgoing are, but we're gonna have to pull that energy of being a people's person into a character that doesn't express it that way and is a bit calmer, a bit gentler, a bit softer. That's going to be an interesting thing that we have to sort of tie together, which might be difficult. I don't know. We'll see. The other thing she told me was people are very comfortable around her. So it's not just that she's outgoing and she's trying to get people involved and make them smile, but it does work. People actually do find her presence very comfortable. And the last thing the artist said was she enjoys befriending awkward loners like her boyfriend Harvey. I would take this in a route where she sees somebody who maybe is not as easily able to engage or put themselves outward and seems a little nervous, or like they don't necessarily go sit with people a lot or talk to people a lot, even if they might want to. And I think she can sort of pick up on these things a little bit, and so she makes that first step that they find difficult to cross in order to make friends. She does it for them and says hi to them and gets to know them and invites them to things, because there are a lot of people out there who, you know, they want to make friends and they love hanging out, but sometimes anxiety's a bitch. And sometimes trying to learn social cues and get past that anxiousness is really, really difficult. And so I think she takes it upon herself to be like, hey, I'm here. I can do that step for you. You don't have to worry about that. Let me give you some of my notes on this character. So I have inviting, which goes with what we were just talking about, where she sort of tries to get everybody to come along and be involved. I also have graceful. Here's one that I have made emphasis on here because she is very slender. Now, this might be a bit to the design of her being a pumpkin, right? And so the rest of it is just kind of roots and stem. So when I was talking about earlier where she is sort of body language-wise going over herself a bit, staying close to herself, right? She's almost making herself small in an environment. That tends to also come with being very graceful, because when you do have to interact and you do have to, you know, perform actions or physical activity, but you're the type of person who keeps very small into yourself and your own sort of areas, That means when you go to do things, you're going to be very graceful and fluid and dainty about it because you don't want to invade people's space. You don't want to be too big and wild and throw your energy around because you're not naturally doing that by yourself. So when you do have to interact, you're just going to very carefully move in these spaces. And that's why I put graceful about her. She might also have a graceful way of using language because she can understand how to reach out to people who aren't necessarily great at a social environment. She understands how to be kind, how to be loving, how to give people grace in what they're trying to say or who they are and let them come to themselves. We also have gentle, sympathetic for sure, engaging, jovial, merry. These are all little aspects of, I think she's peppy and excited a little bit when she has people around her who seem like they're being fun. I think she takes joy in their joy. We have caring and considerate, which of course have to be true if your whole purpose is to get people who are not having a good time to have a good time. We also have confident. So here's the thing, if she is outgoing and personable, even though she's a bit quieter, a bit calmer, a bit softer, she has to have some sort of confidence in herself, in her own abilities, in her place in the world in order to be able to start these conversations and to bring people in, right? And to befriend all of these people. So she definitely has confidence. She gives me very strong epitome of the quiet, feminine stereotype. She's very much like, talks like this. She's built to be that way. However, that doesn't mean she's a pushover. It doesn't mean she's not smart. It doesn't mean she doesn't get her opinion across. Even though they can come across and they are perceived as this almost subserviently gentle character, she is confident and strong and smart. And there is no way to put her in a box where you're going, oh, stereotype little feminine woman. No. I can still see her getting talked over or having her voice quieted from more forceful personalities. Just because she's confident doesn't mean she's going to be like, shut up, I have to say things, right? It means that she might have an idea or concept. She'll be like, excuse me, can I speak? And then other people might see her and be like, no, and ignore her or keep going with their plans, right? And that could get very frustrating. It can get very upsetting. It can make you sad. I think we're definitely going to play with that in one of the emotions because it'll be a good place to see where her personality lies when it comes to someone questioning her abilities. We are going to get into our voices and our emotions. So for voice type, what I'm thinking for her voice would be more of the softer tone, a bit higher pitched, very girl next door, but that's probably where her pitch will be, is in that softer, more feminine tone. We'll see if it changes. I'm not sure how fast or slow she's going to speak. Haven't really decided. I think that'll have to be something we discover naturally. We start with the emotion of happy. So what do we think would make Hazel happy? I think she finds a lot of joy in making new friends and making people feel comfortable. So maybe she's like doing her homework or on the computer or something, and she notices somebody who is sitting by themselves alone, looking a little down. Maybe they're struggling with something, right? Whether they're actually working on a physical thing or drawing or whatever the case may be. And she has this sort of moment of, I'm going to go spark a conversation with them and see if I can make their day a little brighter. I think that's where the happiness is going to come from. So let's give it a shot, shall we?
Hello. Do you mind if I sit here? Great. Could I ask what you're drawing? Oh, wow! That really is quite beautiful. You know, I take art classes every Thursday. You could join if you want. It's totally free. We would love to have you. Yeah, It's a great time. Lots of really friendly people. New people come all the time. Some stay, some don't. But we go to the park and we sketch nature. Some people sketch the people they see passing by. Some people go for the animals. Whatever your interest might be, you're welcome to join us. We have some tea and some snacks too. Yeah? Great. I'll give you my socials and you can follow us. And hopefully we'll see you there. Have a good day, okay? Goodbye.
She's so cute, y'all. She's so sweet. It was interesting, too, because she sort of ends up being like at a normal pace. It is the voice that we were going for. That is the exact voice that I thought was going to come out. It is what occurred. She's got just a normal, speaking pattern type of thing. But what I realized while I was doing it is that I found myself purposefully giving a pause and letting the person that she was talking to speak back, like give a response back. Because what I found was, while portraying her, she is much more interested in listening than speaking. It seems like her way of making people comfortable and feel safe and happy is letting them know that they have someone to be heard with. That she is not just going to come over here and talk their ear off about this whole new person that she's never met and blah, blah, blah. She's just like, oh, that's really cool. We have this thing if you'd want to join. Here are the things we do, right? She lets you talk and give up some of your interests, some of your ideas and thoughts, and then she encourages you about the things that you want to do and gives you opportunities and invites you to things. That is a really interesting way for her comfortability, confidence, and outgoing personality to engage with other people. Because oftentimes we think of the friendly, outgoing person as the one who walks up and is a bit of like, yo, how's it going? I'm such and such. You want to join us for this stuff? We blah, 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 right? And she's not that. She's very much outgoing and engaging with people in a quiet way, in a subtle way, in a very small, sort of pleasant way. And that was interesting because I did not expect it to be so involved with her listening to other people, but it really was. We will go to our next emotion. Our next emotion is angry. It is one of the favorites. We love getting to get down there into the angry places. So this is going to be interesting for Hazel. So if we go back to the angry face here, we remember that her angry isn't just a moment of rage or vengeance or yelling and screaming. It's not necessarily forceful. Her personality already isn't. And it also doesn't feel as if she's trying to put this sort of energy on somebody else. Her anger feels very personal, especially by the look on her face as we described earlier. It feels very internal. It feels like betrayal, as if she lent out trust and the trust was taken, and she is angry about the fact that someone would choose that way of life or choose that action, and it hurts her. It's icy, it's cold, it's giving you burns, right? It's not a sudden hit, it's a slow feeling in your gut, a guilt. It could be that maybe someone who she brought sort of into this friend group where everybody's hanging out has made a comment that is just really rude and almost judgmental about other people. And that would strike a chord with her because she is the last person to tolerate any kind of judgment or discrimination or bullying, right? Or gossiping. She is not about that. She's all about everybody is welcome. Everybody should be having a good time. And I think she would shut that down very quickly. And I want to play with the confidence in the anger in order to be able to shut someone down on the spot and not just be emotionally in this state, but still be able to hold your ground and be like, nope, you don't get to do that here. I think that'll be really interesting to play with, especially combining that aspect with a character who has a softer, gentler tone, because you don't usually have that. So let's give it a shot.
Hey. We don't talk like that here. I understand that you two have not been on the best terms, but if you have an issue, you need to talk with them. You don't come here and gossip and call them names. It's not a buzzkill. It's being polite. I never would have let you come into our friend group if I thought you were going to act like this. I don't appreciate it, and I will not tolerate it either. You need to leave.
Ooh. Oh, that was really authoritative. I did not expect it to come out that in control. She definitely was angry that someone who she had trusted had done it, but I'm surprised it didn't come out more emotionally forthright. Like, I'm surprised those emotions were not more at the front of her speech. All of the calm, collected nature that she has stood its ground and really acted as like floodgates, where it was like, we are holding back this yelling, angry person in order to very politely and very sternly tell you to get out. I did not realize it was going to resonate that way, but I really actually like it. And I think it fits well for Hazel because she has this combination of an outgoing, friendly person, but in a calm, quieted way that it is also affecting her more powerful emotions. This calm, quiet nature really has a significant impact on who she is and how she expresses things. And it differentiates her from a lot of characters that how we usually see them portrayed. And I love this differentiation because it makes her very unique. And it also makes her memorable and therefore fun to play because we don't often get to do it this way. We move to our last emotion, which is sad. We have the sort of look that we were talking about earlier, where it's kind of like angry in that it's not this sort of pure, forceful emotion. Her sad looks a little more shocked than it does sad, right? It looks a little more like almost like how angry was how dare you. Sad is a little bit of how could you. And so I like this parallel of the two, and I do want to play with this kind of how could you thing. Someone being upset with her trying to help. Because my idea is if she wants to make everybody comfortable and safe, she might, maybe she signs someone up for a thing that they're not ready for. And she's like, I was only trying to help, right? And they get angry about it. And so she starts from this sad place of like, I'm really sorry. And then maybe they say something that like can't be taken back. And now all of a sudden she's like, oh my God, why would you say that to me? And so it sort of mutates into this version of sad and sorry that she misspoke or misstepped for them, but then also they really hurt her, and it's like goes into that how could you territory. So let's give it a shot a little bit here.
I'm sorry. I only signed you up because I really think you're great at drawing, and I figured if a few more people could see what you've done, maybe you would feel more confident in yourself. But I would never. How could you think that? You really think that I would set you up like that? think I could hurt you like that? I don't know what I did to make you think that. But I'm sorry.
That's so sad. It sort of did a 360 spiral where it started like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean for it to like happen this way. I didn't realize you'd be upset. And then it was a, whoa, what the hell, man? That was really, really mean. And then it circled back to, well, if that's what you think about me, then I must have done something. And so it goes back to the I'm sorry that I made you feel that way. It's interesting. I didn't expect it to be a spiral or a circle in that way. And I think it goes to speak to her ability to wanting people to feel happy and wanting the people around her to be comfortable. And she puts a sort of faith and trust in them that they are good people and they do mean good things. And so it had to go back around to her apologizing because she wants this person to have good inside and she sees the good inside of them. And so her conclusion has to be that she's in the wrong. She must have misstepped somewhere for them to think so vile about her. And it's probably not the case, right? It was probably just a hurtful moment where you say something. But for her, she has to go back to being like, oh, I'm the problem, I'm the issue. Because she wants to see this beautiful, positive soul in all these other people. Which speaks to her compassion and her sympathy and her loving heart. Okay, that is all three emotions. That is us getting to play with Hazel and her voice, her personality, her emotions. This was genuinely like a lot of fun to sort of work with this character. I love the art style in particular. I love the colors. I really like the idea that she is sort of just this sweet person who is trying to go through life happy and making other people happy. And I don't know, there's something about it that I think the artist does a really good job of portraying a sweet, happy, gentle character without having some aspects of humans for us to relate to, right? Because she is a pumpkin. They are pumpkins. So they are humanoid and they do have, you know, like hands and they wear clothes. But with the features, you don't have nearly as much to work with in terms of portraying to us emotions. Amy does an excellent job of portraying the emotions and the feelings and her personality through the artwork, through the poses, through the very subtle shifts and changes in the facial expressions. The artist did a very good job of being able to portray these human characteristics with characters that have some of those human things taken away from their drawings. Go follow Amy, Amyjoyarts on social medias. Links will be in the description down below. You can also follow me on all the social medias or join us live every Monday at 9 p.m. EST and give me thoughts and ideas in our chat. Either way, that will be all for this week's episode of Voicing Artists Original Characters. Take care. Goodbye.